Welcome back to the grind for another new and returning player guide. This one is going to be about planning your approach to your current season. So there was a video about kind of planning how to approach the season you're starting in, but how to prepare and plan for a season push. So you don't necessarily want to give everything in to the first season that you're starting in, because then you might end up spending all your resources, the only little bit of resources that you have, and only have 2 weeks left of the season and not have enough time to really get much out of it. And the best thing that you can ever do in a season is to spend your resources on discounted branches. So you can see here 50% off both of these branches for the first 2 weeks of the season. So the best thing you can do is say you're halfway through a season when you pick the game back up, or when you start out, just spend that season being as efficient as you can, saving resources, saving chests. Don't open stuff up. And at the end of the season, if you have some sigils that you picked up from events, if there's a way for you to purchase chests with them so that you can save those in, carry them into the next season, which you can then open during the discounted period, that is going to be the best way to prepare for the season. And then you need to know how to approach the season once it begins. And basically, the best thing you can do to for early players, don't worry about getting a mythic dragon right away. You need to get your resource stash built up. You need to progress. You need to build your base. You need to get some dragons. And so the best thing you can do is to open your chests during the first couple weeks of the season. Now, there's different types of chests, and you want to open your draconic chests and your platinum chests during any event. It doesn't really matter. So you can open those ones during breeding event and fortification event, but the gold chests and bronze chests, you only want to open during PvP. And that's because PvP resources will drop more for you during these events. And those are very valuable resources and very important for scoring well in events. PvPs are very hard to score consistently well in. And so the first 2 weeks of the season is when you want to open your chests and then invest in the discounted branches. Now, which one you choose is going to depend on where you're at in the game. Also, depending on what dragon it is. Some dragons are better than others. Some dragons you'll like more than others. And both of those are going to factor into whether or not you choose the dragon. But in the first 100 to 150 levels in the game, you're probably going to be wanting to get more dragons with higher evolution stones of different types and classes. So getting dragons is very helpful for progression, especially because you want to be able to get, now I already got this one, but as you can see, there's a stone here. This is a Harbinger stone. So say your first season, you only make it to picking up the gold stone. And then by next season, you're going to be progressing past gold tier. So you're going to need to then get another dragon that's going to have more stones. And ideally, you want to try to get your new dragons to have at least 2 or 3 evolution stones beyond your current tier, so that they stick around for a while. If you get one, if you're in gold tier and you get a gold tier dragon, in the next breeding event, it's going to be weak. It's going to be too weak for you. So you want to be able to push your dragons beyond the tier you're currently in. Now, if you're higher up in level, you're struggling to get base building resources, or you're on a stronger team and you want to have a stronger base, the base boost branch has a lot of building resources, as well as it gives you the increased defense to your base throughout the season. So it is helpful, but that's more for players that are further into the game. And so that's kind of the steps for approaching the first season, the first couple weeks of the season. And then from there on, you can decide if you want to finish off those branches if you didn't get a chance to, or you want to save for a rider that's going to come later on in the season. Not all the branches are available. As you can see, you've got 2 discount branches, a full tower branch and a half tower branch, and then the mythics, if you can get all the keys, but that's not for most people. And then later in the season, different branches will come out, and you're gonna want to say either invest finishing the dragon that you're working on, or getting a couple more stones, or saving your sigils to then get a rider later on in the season, or a different dragon later on in the season. There's also the festive branch, which gives you draconic chests at the very end, which if you're a couple seasons in and you're getting lots of stuff, lots of sigils now, and you want to hoard draconic chests, it's a great place to invest your sigils, to get draconic chests to help you in future seasons when you're going to make a push for a mythic dragon. And then in terms of events, you never want to do all in on a single event. If you spend all your timers in a single fort event, you might get a lot of sigils from that event, but then the next event, you might not get very many at all. So rather than getting, say, 6,000 sigils one event and then 1,000 sigils for the next several fortification events, it would be better for you to get 3,000 or 4,000 sigils from the event every single event. Same goes for PvP. Don't jump into PvP and say, I'm going to get all these milestones. I'm going to go way down to 280,000. That's going to take a ton of resources to push yourself way down those milestones. Rather, you might want to just stick to going to 43,000 every single PvP. And overall, throughout the season, you're going to get more out of your resources, and maybe you're saving resources along the way for a big push in a season when you're going to go for a mythic dragon. So don't go all in on a single event. You want to try to ration out your resources. And if you want specific guides for each event, I have tons of videos on the different PvP events, on different things for base building and breeding tips. So check out those specific videos, but this is kind of an overall approach to your first real season. And so hopefully you got some valuable information out of this. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.